All right, welcome back to RevOps. Got it wrong again. Welcome back to RevOps Bennett. I'm Bennett. Really appreciate you joining. Today we're going to do a video in a video series. This is the first video of that series called Things I Hate About Salesforce. And this is actually coming from a Salesforce stan. I'm a huge believer in Salesforce. I think that it's a tool that, if set up correctly, is really powerful and can help CSMs, AEs, and BDRs work a lot more efficiently. However, I do believe it needs to be set up by someone who intimately knows the sales process, who understands the AE, BDR, and CSM workflows, and so that it's working for them, not against them. And again, that's what we're here for at RevOps Bennett. So really appreciate you joining. And today we'll go over, again, those 3 things that I do not like about Salesforce. Thanks for joining RevOps Bennett. All right, so the first thing that I hate about Salesforce is multi-select pick lists. And I don't hate them in themselves. They're necessary, right? There are times where you need to select multiple things, where you want to standardize these selections that people have access to. For example, we'll use the field competitors. This could be a field that lives on the opportunity object, and you want the team to be able to select not just the main competitor, but every competitor that you're going up against in that deal. That makes sense, right? The issue is, though, when you want to report on that, there are some limitations because you cannot use multi-select pick lists in row-level formulas. And since we cannot use multi-select pick lists in row-level formulas, we need to create a text field to house that information. We're going to do that through a simple flow. Whenever an opportunity is updated or created, a decision element is going to say, has the competitors been changed? If true, then update records where the competitor's text version field is populated by the field competitors. So now we're going to have 2 fields. We're going to have our competitors field and then our competitor's text version. And I wanted to show you how this plays out in a report. So if we're going to create a row-level summary field, if I'm trying to add that field into this formula and I search for competitors, you'll notice that the competitors field doesn't show up at all. And that's because multi-select pick lists do not show up in row-level formulas. However, we do have this text version that is showing up, and we're going to be able to insert that into our if statement. So if competitor's text version contains Darth Maul, 1, if not 0. And here's that row level formula here. So contains Darth Maul, if yes, give it a value of 1, if not, give it a value of 0. So we got the Joker, we got Thanos, we don't have Darth Maul, 0. Out of the 4 records, 3 of them contain Darth Maul. Now we can just quickly edit this, throw this field up into our groupings. Add a graph or a chart. And just like that, we can quickly and easily see that out of our 4 records, that 3 of them, or 75%, contain Darth Maul. I copy this link, send it to my CRO or VP of sales, and they have all the information that they need without me having to do any work in Excel, which I'm all about. When I can keep data in Salesforce, allow end users to be empowered to click into the results, navigate through the opportunities directly from within Salesforce, that's a win for me. So that was the first thing I dislike about Salesforce is multi-select pick lists, but we were able to solve for it. The second thing I dislike about Salesforce is that you're unable to group by a field and then pull that field into a report. So let's dive into an example of that. Here's an opportunities report, and of course we're always grouping opportunities by a date. For pipeline generation, you're grouping it by created date. For one pipeline, you're grouping it by close date, always using certain date fields to group, grouping it by month or week or year or quarter. So in this case, we've got this grouped by year. You'll see close date here as a grouped row. If I wanted to add close date into a column, for example, I have a lot of sales leaders who want to see, hey, group it by calendar quarter, but then also I want to see the exact date that's supposed to close in the report. You can't do that though, unfortunately. If I come here and I add a close date, you'll see that it's no longer added as a group. It literally just disappears. If If I drag it back up to the groups, it also disappears from the columns. So I can't have it in both places. Super frustrating. Easy fix though. All you need to do is create a second field for that close date. And now not only do I have this group by close date and year, so calendar year 2025, but I also have the exact close date within the report as well. So that's the second thing I hate about Salesforce, but again, we found a solution. Not perfect, but definitely a solution that's gonna work. Number 3, the third thing I hate about Salesforce is limitations when it comes to building out dashboards, in particular grouping by no more than 2 things or displaying that, right? You can group Salesforce reports by 3 things. So you could group it by close date, then by rep, then by stage, but you can't display that in a dashboard or a graph, which is a little bit frustrating. So the workaround here is to actually make a row level formula. So let's see how that plays out, the making of a row level formula within a report, and how that gives us the ability to now group by that field. So I have a report here grouped in a pretty standard manner. There's 3 groupings, which is the maximum you can have in Salesforce. First by close date, then by opportunity owner, then by stage. So if I go to make a graph or a chart, I go to chart properties, I look at my bar chart. I have it grouped right now by opportunity owner. Switch that to close date here. Let's say I wanted to group it by opportunity owner and stage. If I add a group, all I can do is add one group. It can either be stage or it could either be opportunity owner. It can't be both. So I'm stuck here. If I wanted to show this in a dashboard, I would need to do 2 different components. So let's dive into our row level formula. This is simply just the full name or the opportunity owner plus the stage name. What we can do now is drag maybe opportunity owner down, stage down, and pull up AE plus stage. Another good thing about this is that I can now group by another field if I wanted to. So we hit run, and now all we need to do is go into our chart properties, hit group, add that formula field in, and now, although it's not perfect, we do have the ability to see the quarter, see the person who owns that opportunity, Fred Flintstone, and then the stage that it's in. So for Q3, you can see Bennett Simonton, each of the amount of opportunities I have in that stage, but also we break out our other account executives, Fred's Flintstone and Spider-Man, and the stages that those opportunities are in as well. So it's not perfect, right? There's gonna be times where you have too many groupings and this is too difficult to read. However, in certain situations, this is gonna really help and allow you to save a dashboard component or 2 within your dashboard. And since you can only have 20 components, sometimes that's really helpful. So I hope you found that helpful. 3 things in Salesforce that I find extremely frustrating, but 3 answers on how to somewhat solve those things. And if you found this impactful, please like, subscribe, comment. I would love to do a lot more of these videos. I have a lot of other things to complain about Salesforce, although again, it's my baby and I love it. So thanks everyone, take care, bye mom.